this boy was pounced on by the bully in the toilet. But the next second, a cheetah came out. The bullies all ran away, and the boy wasn't afraid. He called the cheetah to leave with him because the cheetah was his pet. The police came to arrest the cheetah. The boy and the cheetah ran away. Not long ago, a young cheetah suddenly realized that his mother might never return. Just moments before, a fierce group of lions had set their sights on their family. In a desperate attempt to protect her cubs, the mother cheetah lured the lions away to another location. Despite her lightning speed, she couldn't escape the lions' relentless pursuit. Now orphaned and vulnerable, the surviving cubs faced an uncertain future. One evening, one of the cubs ventured dangerously close to a road. The savannah was fraught with dangers, but so was this new environment, where speeding vehicles could end his life in an instant. Just as a speeding car was about to strike, the driver swerved in time, sparing the cub's life. To prevent further close calls, Zane and his father captured the cub temporarily with a net. Overwhelmed with affection for the adorable cub, Zane instantly bonded with him. From then on, the cheetah began a new chapter of his life. Adapting quickly to his new home, the cub was unfazed by his surroundings. He would play the piano in the living room when he felt lively, roll around in the sun when bored, and sneak into the chicken coop for a nap when tired. As time went by, he completely took over the place as his own. Eventually, Zane's family named him Duma. Fortunate to grow under their care, Duma thrived, but to ensure he didn't lose his wild instincts, the father and son would take him out for training runs. Duma's speed skyrocketed from 60 to 100 miles per hour, easily outpacing motorcycles. Knowing the importance of reintroducing Duma to the wild, his family prepared to return him to where he was found. As much as Zane was heartbroken, he knew it was for the best. With a map and a plan set for 2 weeks later, they were ready. But life is unpredictable, and before they could embark on their journey, Zane's father passed away unexpectedly. Since his father's passing, Zane had been engulfed in deep sorrow. No longer wearing his usual smile, it seemed as though Duma could sense something was wrong. Too, quietly sitting by Zane's side to keep him company. A few days later, his mother abruptly informed him that their farm was going to be rented out and that they would move to a relative's place in the city. Zane's first thought was of Duma, and the crushing answer he received was that the cheetah would be sent to a zoo. Despite Zane's strong reluctance, he felt powerless to change the situation. With a heavy heart, he took Duma to the unfamiliar city. The new environment, dominated by towering buildings, was suffocating for Duma. Even the sounds from the TV seemed to put him on edge, causing him to become highly agitated. During a moment of panic, their relative fled the house in fear.
And Duma seized the opportunity to escape.
Zane was also struggling to adjust. At his new school, he felt utterly out of place and devoid of joy. Then, during class one day, he spotted Duma suddenly appearing at the window, leaving him in disbelief. How had Duma found him? Suddenly, an alarm sounded outside the classroom, throwing the school into chaos. Zane knew Duma had been spotted, and as the situation escalated, police armed with guns arrived. Realizing the urgency, Zane knew he had to quickly get Duma out of there. If they were caught, it would likely end badly. With determination, Zane led Duma, carefully avoiding human sight, towards a safer location. When they could no longer run, they found a secluded patch of grass to rest. Observing the bustling world around him, Zane knew this was not where they belonged. He made a decision. He would take Duma home. After leaving a note for his mother, Zane resolved to traverse South Africa, aiming to return Duma to the savannah and fulfill the promise he and his father had made. As they raced across the open land, they felt free and unrestrained, undeterred by any obstacle. However, their journey hit a snag when their motorcycle ran out of gas, stranding them in the middle of nowhere. With no other choice, Zane pushed the motorcycle onward. Just when his strength was waning, he spotted airplane wreckage not far away. Under its shade, Zane and Duma took a much-needed rest. Perhaps comforted by Duma's presence, Zane fell asleep inside the plane. He was abruptly awakened at night by the sound of an engine. Approaching, he found someone attempting to steal the motorcycle. Zane mustered the courage to confront the thief, but his efforts initially seemed futile. It was only when Duma approached that the thief, Ripkuna, backed down. In exchange for letting Ripkuna go, Zane successfully negotiated for some water. Without waiting for sunset, Zane put his skills to use and began to modify the motorcycle. Fortunately, a parachute from the airplane proved incredibly useful. Utilizing the wind, they set sail, effectively converting the motorcycle into a wind-powered vehicle, and accelerated forward at full speed. Ripkuna, using his own knowledge, successfully located a water source nearby. The next challenge was to find food. Zane instructed Duma to try catching an ostrich, but instead of capturing one, They found a few ostrich eggs. Clearly, Duma hadn't mastered hunting skills yet. Ripkuna suggested selling Duma to get a handsome reward, but Zane resolutely refused to betray his friend. Seeing that he couldn't persuade Zane, Ripkuna surprisingly offered to lead the way through the perilous terrain. Zane agreed, albeit skeptically. On their journey, Zane kept a watchful eye on Ripkuna. It wasn't until Zane checked his compass that he realized Ripkuna was leading them in the wrong direction. Knowing he was no match for Ripkuna physically, Zane chose to bide his time. The opportunity arose when Ripkuna decided to enter a mine to dig for diamonds. As soon as Ripkuna was inside, Zane tried to escape with Duma, but before they got far, the mine collapsed. Despite his mistrust, Zane couldn't leave Ripkuna to die and hurried back to rescue him. After much effort, Ripkuna's head emerged from the rubble. Frustrated and feeling suffocated by the lies, Zane confronted Ripkuna about his intentions. Unconvinced by Ripkuna's explanations, Zane angrily abandoned him in the mine, but not without grabbing a handy weapon on his way out. Soon after, another challenge awaited them. They needed to cross a river. Drawing on the knowledge his father had taught him, Zane quickly crafted a simple raft. Duma, sensing danger, barked nervously beside the water. With some urging from Zane, Duma cautiously stepped onto the raft. Though the river appeared calm, danger lurked beneath as multiple pairs of eyes had been watching them for a while. Not long after they set off, the swift currents overturned the raft, and Zane and Duma were thrown into the water, drawing the attention of crocodiles nearby. In a critical moment, Zane used the weapon he had taken from the mine to stab into the riverbed, warding off the approaching crocodiles. Fortunately, they managed to reach the shore just in time to avoid becoming a crocodile feast. In the wild expanse of South Africa, the perils for Zane and Duma persisted relentlessly. Shortly after reaching the shore, a herd of buffalo charged at them. Luckily, Zane managed to dive into the bushes, escaping the buffalo's notice. Duma, however, wasn't as fortunate. He was chased by the buffalo herd and ultimately became separated from Zane. Lost and alone, Duma roamed the forest in search of Zane, but inadvertently walked into a trap set by hunters. As night fell, the dangers of the wilderness intensified. Lions prowled the area in search of food, and hyenas scavenged around, any of which posed a lethal threat to Zane. While searching for a way to cross the river, a wild boar targeted Zane. The boar saw him perched in a tree and pretended to leave, only to swiftly return just as Zane climbed down. Caught off guard, Zane stumbled and fell to the ground. Before he could react, the boar was standing right in front of him, posing an immediate threat. When he awoke from his stupor, he found himself surprisingly rescued by none other than Ripkuna, the very person he had left behind in the mine. Ripkuna's unexpected return and his act of saving them added a complex layer of gratitude and confusion to their already tumultuous journey. The next day, Zane apologized for his previous actions. Ripkuna, feeling remorseful himself, admitted that he initially had ulterior motives. However, as they spent more time together, his intentions shifted towards genuinely wanting to help Zane. From that moment, they opened up to each other and forged a real friendship. Guided by Ripkuna, they resumed their journey towards their destination. As they were about to cross a plain, Ripkuna suddenly sensed danger ahead. It turned out to be a swarm of tsetse flies heading their way. These flies could cause fainting or even death if one was bitten. To protect Zane, Ripkuna quickly covered him with his shirt, exposing himself to the frenzied bites. By evening, Ripkuna's body was severely swollen from the bites. At that moment, Duma sensed another threat, the presence of lions nearby. They needed to start a fire to drive away the lions, but a sudden downpour made it impossible to ignite the soaked grass. In a desperate move, Ripkuna used some bills from a bottle to kindle the fire, keeping the lions at bay for the time being. As time passed, Ripkuna's condition worsened, and he was in dire need of medical attention. Recalling Ripkuna's mention of his tribe nearby, Zane tied Duma to a post and went alone to seek help. Sensing Zane's danger, Duma broke free to distract the lions, allowing Zane to reach out for help. With relentless effort, Zane found other humans not far away, while Duma managed to evade the lions and find his own kind. The next day, with the help of the locals, Ripkuna slowly regained consciousness and reunited with his family. When Zane went out to find Duma, he saw him hunting with his peers. After a coordinated effort, they easily captured their prey. Witnessing Duma's growth and independence, Zane knew it was time to say goodbye. After bidding each other farewell, they each set off towards their new lives. Zane returned to the long-missed farm, and through his adventures, he learned that even though time passes, love never fades.